I mean, it almost definitely will because it's on a Monday. No one shows up on the Wednesdays. For the first 10 minutes, people, people are going to be all about it. All right. So, in terms of like intro and getting into it and stuff, do you just want me to figure something out in the intro? Sup, everybody?
How's it
It's
going?
just us,
We
the
is
Riddle
the
Boys.
Riddle Boys. That's right. Oh man, I should put that in the title.
Return of the Riddle Boys.
Return of the Riddle Boys.
Um, some of you may notice. First off, it doesn't say like the paper dungeon. It says table scraps. That's because of another thing that you might notice. It's just me and Drew today. Um, DJ is tapped out. Lydia's tapped out. Grant's like visiting
Grant's in
Portland or
Seattle or
something like
something.
that. Yeah, I don't know, some random place. So we're gonna be doing something a little different today, and let me tell you, we came up with this 30 minutes ago. Um, and I'm gonna tell you what that is. But first, we're gonna do some announcements. All right, that's what's popping. So I'm just gonna start off the announcements. I'm just gonna. Oh geez, this is so weird being the host and the person who does announcements. Let's start off with the thing that Grant normally says. How about that, right?
Yeah, that sounds
So,
great.
YouTube podcast listeners, if for some reason this episode gets out to the public, like off of live Twitch, if you are watching this, we appreciate you. And
Yeah.
you are just absolutely incredible. I love seeing when people from the podcast show up and stream. I love seeing YouTube doesn't happen as often. What are you guys doing? You can join us over on Monday night at 7 p.m. The glare from my screen is so bad right now. You can join us. You can join us at 7 p.m. on Mondays, CST, for what will normally be our main campaign. Uh, and it would be really awesome if you did. And another cool thing that you can do is if you happen to have like Amazon Prime, right? Pretty crazy. Not a whole lot of people have it. Little known website. You can use that Amazon Prime to just gift a sub for free to whoever you want. And if it is us, we would be very thankful. Um, so yeah, shout out to our YouTube and podcast people. Drew, do you want to do whatever announcement you want to do, and then I'll
Uh,
pick the last one?
sure. I guess I
Yep.
can do Lydia's because I've been
Yeah,
just on a
you've
streak
got
with
that
that
one
one.
down. You're
I
on
got
it.
So guys, uh, kind of like what Aaron was talking about. We exist here on Twitch and YouTube, but we also exist on like social medias. So like, got TikToks. We have a Twitter account. We have Instagram. You know, those are kind of our main platforms. We also have our YouTube Shorts, if you consider that like its own like thing. It's kind of like its own thing.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, it's its own thing.
yeah.
I'll allow it.
So check us out there. We have a lot of kind of old now would be older content there, pre chapter 2 content of the main campaign. A lot of really fun, cool moments over there. So check it out. Uh, yeah.
Sweet. And now back to me. Last thing that I really have to go over. First off, we have a website, www.thepaperdungeon.com, where we have a merch store, and you can buy like merch that has like it's from us. You know what it is.
Yeah.
Speaking of merch stores, Lydia, who is not here with us right now, but she is the one who's done all of our overlays, all of our character art, anything art wise that you've seen in the past year from the Paper Dungeon. That's been Lydia, and she has her own store that you can buy her cool artwork and commission artwork from her, get it on shirts and stuff. It's awesome. So definitely check that out. We also have a Discord, and that Discord is pretty rad. People say good morning. Everyone's super nice there. It is where we are going to be posting some stuff during this episode. So if you want to follow along, if you want to kind of obtain some of these things, of course, I'll fill you in more about what exactly is going on and what that is. Please join that there. Also, Patreon. That's a thing that we have. If you want to support us in a bunch of different ways, we have a bunch of different ways for you to do that. We have Streamlabs donations, we have Ko-Fi, we have Patreon, and that Patreon will be getting more uploads now, especially this next coming year. I'm going to be absolutely doubling down on that. So shout out to those of you who are already on the Patreon. You are special, incredible people, and we appreciate you. So join us on the Discord. Yes?
I was just going to say, also, quick shout out to Wander, who subscribed. Now is on 22 months in a row.
22 months?
Maz, who is now on 18 months. Let's see, somebody else. Shraden, who's now on 2 months. Thank you.
Thanks, Handscape, for the 5 gifted subs as well.
Mickey Joe CJR
That's my boy.
gave Prime sub.
Man.
And they are on 11 months. And thank you. I think did I see somebody else?
And Drew's just scrolling through.
I am. I literally was at the top of the chat and scrolling through, and then also thank you to Hands who gifted 5 subs. We appreciate you.
So, as I said in the Discord, if you're there and you read it, we're gonna get a little bit zany tonight, or you could say a little bit ziny. That's right. I made a wordplay, and it started off real strong. We're going to be going through. I had Drew and I both pick out 3 or 4 one-page Zine RPGs. So a Zine is just a one-page like document. It's super fast, super quick to learn, super quick to play. Hopefully,
we'll put that to the test.
We have no information. We've like skimmed through the page, and we are going to attempt to learn how to play the game. Play it briefly for like I don't know how long it's going to take for us to do any of these. It could take 20 minutes. I don't know. It won't, but it could.
We're gonna find out.
Play through them, and then obviously we're going to post these in our Discord. Please, if you are interested in them, check them out. I know a lot of them are available for free. I know that any of the ones that I find super awesome, I'm going to be going back and for sure paying for them. So if you like them, please go like find where they are and actually like pay for them. I don't want to be ripping people off or anything like that. So, do you want to start with one of yours, or do you want me to start? I'm down to start.
You go ahead. I'll let you start.
All right. So the first one-page RPG that I have prepared, and by that I mean looked up 20 minutes ago, is a little thing called Goblin Punks. All 3 of mine are by the same author, Grant Howitt. You might have heard of him. He's done a lot of stuff like this. Incredible maker of like one-page RPGs. Super cool. I'm going to real quick. It should be in the D&D resources page of our Discord if you want to kind of look at it yourself. It's pretty cool. So, I'm going to read the intro to it. Goblin Punks. You're a scrappy little goblin punk. Your mom and dad want you to stay in the grotto and harvest mushrooms, but to hell with that. It's time for an adventure.
Nice.
So, here's how this is gonna start. All right. Do you have a paper and pencil on you? I assume that you do somewhere nearby.
Yeah.
Can you please roll a d20 twice?
A
Excuse
D20
me,
twice. Okay.
3 times, actually.
All right.
So what you're rolling for are what exactly are the items that you bring to this adventure?
What happens if I get two of the same number?
You get a particularly large or impressive version of the thing that
Nice.
adds 2 dice to your roll.
Okay. Let's see. Pencil and paper. I'll just use my notebook. It's fine. All right.
That's what I do, and Handskate hates it.
Yep. I'm just gonna flip to the back of my notebook and write this down. All right. So I got a 1
Okay, so you have an animal skull.
animal skull. Great.
You can choose the animal. I don't care which one it is.
It's elk.
Nice. You have an elk skull.
Uh, and I got 2 6s.
2 6s. So you have a cool jacket. It's
Ooh.
really rad. I don't think you're. It's very impressive. So
Nice.
Also, there's a very important part of this that is one of the things that really drew me to this little one-page RPG. At the start of the game, everyone has to come up with a word or phrase that's popular with the goblin kids. You make goblin slang.
Ooh.
You don't need to explain what it means. You just need to come up with you need to make it non-specific and easy to pronounce and brief. The examples that they give are, "That's dead Krog, mate," or "Where's this dog cellar? Go run down a hole." Stuff like that. No explanation. Just at any point in time, you can throw that out. Right?
Okay. At any point, I could just say something.
You do need to announce it to me, because what'll happen is when you notice someone else using your slang or a part of it, they get a little token that they can use, hold up to 3 at a time, to use a token to basically get an extra D6 on the roll.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Great. Okay. Okay. A slogan. What's a good goblin slogan?
I'll let you think about that because I need to read real quick.
Okay.
Also, feel free chat to toss out suggestions if you think you've got some real good goblin slang.
Oh man, I like the first thing. Okay, so like the first like just really weird thing that comes to mind is you're a fish with frog legs.
That's perfect. You're a fish with frog legs. That is excellent. So obviously normally, so this is obviously meant for like multiple people, but we are running it with like just the 2 of us.
Yep, it's great.
So normally it would be like if someone else uses your slang, like you shouldn't be able to use your own slang because you would just use it all the time. I don't care. You're the one player I have, so whatever. This is a D6 based game, so basically, when you do something, I will say like, "Hey, roll a die."
Uh-huh.
6 is you do the thing.
Uh-huh. Okay, great.
4 through a 5 is you do a thing,
Uh-huh.
but I get to choose whether or not it also embarrasses you in front of other people,
Okay.
or you attract unwanted attention, or you lose or break some equipment.
Okay.
So just depending on the action you choose, I will choose from that. 1 through 3 is you don't do the thing, and then you pick an outcome from those results.
Oh, okay.
How you kind of lose in this game is you either get like so embarrassed that you just give up and go home, or like you get hurt enough to run away, or you get caught by the authorities. So if your shame or treble ever reaches 5, that's how you lose, basically. That's how you quote unquote die.
Okay.
And normally you would just switch to playing NPCs. In that case, once again, there's only one of us, so that's probably when we'll just jump to a different.
Yeah, we'll just that'll just be the TPK and we'll move on.
The next thing I need you to do, can you roll a D12 twice?
A D12 twice. Okay.
Yes.
D12.
So we're gonna roll for the adventure real quick here.
Okay, I got a 6.
A 6. Okay.
and another 6.
Okay. That's good enough. This is super fast, so we don't really need to. Like,
Great.
you could combine them. Not important.
Great.
The goal here is to successfully buy a beer in the human tavern. Um, that's the entire thing.
Yes.
Now I need you to roll a d6.
Yes. Okay. Okay. A D6.
Yep,
A 4.
a 4. Unfortunately,
Uh-huh.
someone stands in your way,
Okay.
and who could have guessed? It's your parents.
Okay.
So the biggest threat
Right.
possible on the board.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So,
Okay.
we are going to just pick up. I'm gonna throw together this adventure incredibly fast with zero information, zero prep, zero world building. Get ready for it. All right. So,
All right.
you and your buddy. By the way, I expect you to have come up with a name in this time.
Oh, yes. Got it.
Also, the slang that you can use just as an additional one is cragwazzle.
Ah,
Like
Cragwazzle.
like, yeah, that's the explanation. So you and your buddy Todd,
Uh-huh.
because that's a very goblin name. It's a school day. It's a school day in the goblin camp. You guys are too cool for school.
Uh-huh.
You
Of course.
guys, first off, you're goblins. Any goblin that goes to school is an absolute nerd.
Yeah.
Right. So you and your buddy Todd both were like, man, today's the day. Just down the road
Mm-hmm.
from Goblin Camp A,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
there's a human settlement, and like, look, you could probably find goblin booze.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't even compare. So you've heard. You've never actually succeeded.
Right. Yeah.
Unfortunately, you are skipping class, but you know that your parents are on patrol today.
Oh no.
Absolutely. So like Todd's parents are also on patrol, but like his parents aren't as good as your mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys are currently sitting on the stoop of your house, planning your kind of escape.
Mm-hmm.
And Todd's like, "Hey, yo, bro,
What's up, Todd?
yeah,
What do you got? We gotta come up with something here.
we gotta."
I mean, look, okay, so I'm not gonna brag. Look. But Todd, I got a really cool jacket, okay? And I have this elk head, okay? Here's what I'm thinking. Have you heard the story of the Boogaloo?
The Boogaloo?
The Boogaloo.
Like the electric Boogaloo?
Yes, the electric Boogaloo, that's right.
My favorite song?
Here's my plan.
Oh, this turns into Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure way too fast.
Here's my plan. All right. You get my shoulders, all right? You put on, all right? You get on my shoulders. You put on my jacket and wear the head of the elk, okay?
Yeah.
And then as we're exiting the town, nobody's going to want to mess with us cuz we're too scary, all right? You got it? We're just going to scare everyone and we're just going to
sounds completely
once we get
good to
outside,
me.
we're just going to book it once we get outside town, all right?
Okay. All right.
That's the plan.
So,
Also,
as you know,
my goblin's name is Dave.
Dave
Yes.
and Todd,
Dave and Todd.
Dave and Todd's Goblin Adventure. Yeah, Todd's sitting on the stoop and he pulls out a goblin cigarette. He lights it up and he's like, by the way, that is the item that I rolled for Todd.
Nice.
And he pulls out a goblin cigarette and he's like, that's why Todd's voice sounds the way that it does. So, are we just gonna sneak past your like parents because they're like right on the way out of town? Like they're on patrol and stuff like that.
If see, okay, so if you're wearing the skull, right, they won't recognize you, right? And then if I'm hidden in the jacket, right, they won't see me.
Won't they recognize your jacket?
Oh, you're right. They might recognize the jacket. Ooh, that's a
I
fair
say we
point.
just go for it.
I agree. Yeah.
They're old. They must have bad knees, right? Like they can just run.
That's
like,
right.
They can't run. We're fast.
Exactly. Especially with you on my shoulders, you know, we're gonna be really
yeah,
fast.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's go. Okay. All right. I'm ready. So, you and Todd assemble into a completely original idea of two goblins in a trench coat.
Yep.
If you've never seen it done before, it's easy. It's original. It's mind blowing. Um, so I'm just gonna have you kind of like sneaking slash outrunning your parents to the town as your first kind of check.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Since you're the one absolutely booking it, um, you can use. Would you say that this is using your cool jacket, or do you think that your cool jacket applies in this situation?
Yes. Oh, 100%. It applies in this
Okay,
situation.
absolutely. So you're going to roll a d6 whenever you do any action. If you can use an item, you'll roll an additional one.
Okay.
Because your jacket counts as two, you will roll 3d6 and
Nice.
then take the highest number.
Great. Okay. Where? I need one more d6. There it is. All right. Here we go. 3d6, and I'm looking for just 1 6, basically. What? Where?
6 is you do the thing. 4 to 5 is you do the thing, but with consequences.
Okay.
That I choose. And 1 to 3 is you don't do the thing, but you choose the consequence.
Okay. All right. All right. I had got a 6 and 2 3s.
Awesome. So, lucky for you, the 6 that just lets you do the thing.
Okay.
So, you get gosh dang Todd onto your shoulders. Throw that jacket around the two of you. It's a bit big, so that way you kind of look like one really tall goblin, but it's like 2 tiny legs and then a big ball of a jacket. And then like a tiny little head. You look like Pinhead from Phineas and Ferb, like that episode. And luckily you go out and it's lunch. Your parents are on lunch break.
Yes.
So you're looking around and then you're like, oh shoot, they're not here. So you just book it.
Yeah.
Straight to the town.
Just get out of there.
So the two of you in your impeccable disguise make it to the human town. Nothing is stopping you there. Can you actually no? There isn't like deception checks or anything. So you just walk into town. You notice right off the bat, people are giving you rather strange looks, but it's also to the point where this is a fantasy world, right? So like random wizards kidnap child-sized humanoids at any point in time. Like this is like you just don't want to interact with this on average because anything could happen. So you stroll up to the bar. You know where it is. You've been scoping this out for a little while. Todd says, "All right, we're at the gate of the enemy. Let's get in there. Get some human booze. Get out. Do you think we should drink it before or after we get back?"
Oh no, we should definitely drink it like before we get back. Yeah.
Nice. Do you want to drink it in the bar or outside of the bar?
I mean, isn't like drinking it in the bar like part of the experience? You know, like drinking it in like this really like
for the culture.
Yeah, like in this really crappy rundown place. Like that's part of the experience, right?
Oh yeah, that's yeah. No, you're absolutely on it.
Yeah. There's like they usually have like this strange arcane screen that plays like some sort of game. Yeah, yeah.
Which is also another RPG that I almost decided to play. Absolutely. So the two of you, it takes a couple seconds because you're not sure whose hand is supposed to turn the knob. Because Todd's hand is too high above the knob and your hand is too far below the knob. So you kind of do this weird like hunch to get Todd.
Yeah,
and like,
to get down and
manage to enter the tavern. This is your classic RPG fantasy tavern. There is a strange hooded figure in the corner whose face is covered in shadows. There's it looks like some kind of rogue with a dagger over in the corner. He's just flipping. He carves something in the table and he just shifting around the whole time. Completely naive, unassuming young fellow kind of jaunts down the stairs with a bright outlook, just ready to be robbed. A barkeep is behind the counter, polishing a glass. He looks at it, spits into it, and wipes it out again. Sets that on the counter. You walk in. He's not looking at you, and he goes, "Oi, what can I get ya?"
That's okay. He's just, okay. So Todd's still on my shoulders.
Oh yeah, Todd is absolutely still on your shoulders.
Um, I just like whisper to Todd. Todd, just tell him we want the biggest thing of ale he has.
You see Todd kind of shift around. He like attempts to lean, but then he realizes, so he's just leaning on nothing on your shoulders. And he pulls out a goblin cigarette and we'll take the largest whatever you call it of booze you got. And the barkeep behind the counter, he's washing his glasses, and he looks up for a brief second. He looks down, and he looks up again. He looks down, and then he looks up one more time, and he goes, "Do you have the coin for it?"
I assume we don't have any coin, GM.
Immediately, you see Todd like pull up the like gosh dang cowl of your jacket and look down at you and goes, "I didn't know anything. What's a coin?"
Oh my goodness, I'm laughing so hard. Tell him we'll how about tell him we'll give him, we'll trade him a favor for the bail for the drink.
Todd says, "Wait, I might have a better idea. Follow my lead, legs." He looks over and you see him like reach his hand into the jacket, which looks super weird from outside. He also hands his cigarette to you. He does. So you take his cigarette. He comes out without a cigarette, and instead he is holding just a handful of herbs that he dug out from his like little loincloth satchel. And he says, "I've got something better than coins. I have something that might be goblin weed." Todd's just gonna roll. He's gonna roll a 2d6. That's what Todd's gonna do, because that's another one of his items. Is some herbs you're pretty sure are goblin weed. Okay. Todd got a 5, so he is going to be able to do the thing. Also, because there's only 2, I'm going to have this be a collective like level of trouble and shame.
Sure.
Because Todd's an NPC, so when he messes up, you mess up.
Yeah.
So, the bartender is going to look up and he says, "Oi, goblin weed, you say? I mean, I've never taken them for fine smokers, but I suppose for one measly glass, the whole bag." And Todd says, "Yeah, sure, man. Okay." And he just like throws it in the bag. This is the you succeed, but the GM gets to pick that he loses his item. So he no longer has his herbs that may or may not be goblin weed. Also, I thank you everyone for staying this far. It's only downhill from here. Does this thing. The bartender slides a big like tankard of probably the lowest value ale they have. Just one. It's like you could fit in this tankard. Like, you're not big. You're like a teen goblin.
Yeah.
Also, the Paper Dungeon does not endorse underage anything. They're goblins. They die at the age of 2. All right. That does not represent the ideas or opinions of the Paper Dungeon or any of its subsidiaries or members or whatever. You get it. So, now Todd grabs the ale and says, "Thank you, sir."
Cragwazzle.
Ooh, nice. You get a token. Thank you, Sir Quackwazzle. um. Uh. So, and then Todd, not fully realizing it, just grabs it. You walk over to the table, and he just hopped off your shoulders onto the bench, and you hop onto the bench as well. And thankfully, everyone is so much like, I'm not even sure what's happening, that they just don't look over there. So now it's just two goblins on a bench. You two share your large tankard of ale.
Oh my goodness. Yep.
Absolutely. You look, it's good. For like goblin standards, this is some of the best stuff you've ever tasted.
Nice.
For teen goblin standards, it is the best stuff you've ever tasted.
100%.
It's also like, you don't have a blood alcohol content now, it's just alcohol content. like you have really tiny bodies. But thankfully, goblins don't need blood. Turns out.
Yeah.
They don't need it. So eventually, you kind of manage to re-get back onto, like, someone is sitting on someone's shoulder. It's hard for you to tell who. And you kind of like sway and like loosely stagger out of this tavern, and then a sight that terrifies you. Standing in all of their 3-foot tall menacing glory is your mother at the edge of town, rolling pin in hand, in like a way too bright floral pink dress. And she says, boy, you're supposed to be in school now. What are you doing? How do you plan to get out of this? Nice token.
It's just my mom.
Oh yeah, you're not sure where your dad is, but
okay, great.
This is your mom.
Well, being drunk, I just say, to Todd, I say, oh Todd, look, it's my mom. It's my mom. Oh no, Todd, I can't. Todd is my mom. I can't go to prison. Todd.
What do you want me to do? Should I shoot her? And he pulls out a slingshot.
Yeah, just run for your life. Ah! I just start running.
Yeah, you're running. Todd's flailing around on your shoulders trying to aim. Todd is going to try and fire at your mom. He pulls out of just his pocket. He has a bunch of suitably sized rocks.
While he does that, I'm going to take my elk head and just throw it at her.
Oh, awesome! So, both of you can roll in action. Since you're drunk, I would normally grant some form of disadvantage. I still will, so you will only roll 1d6 for this.
Okay, great. Oh my goodness. This is way too enjoyable.
Oh.
Ooh.
All right, how you doing?
A 2.
2? Okay. And Todd got a 1 on his d6.
Nice.
So between the two of you, you're like, ha! The elk head just flies through a window. Glass goes everywhere. Todd's slingshot, he's like, I got her, bro. He pulls back, and then you throw your elk head, which throws him off. He fires off randomly into the distance. You hear like ping, ow, and a cat like jumps up, lands on some like homeless vagrant who probably was the big bad the whole time.
Probably.
And then so fortunately, you'll get to choose. Do you have, do you gain 1 shame, 1 trouble, or do you lose or break some equipment?
Okay. I would like to imagine. So we throw the elk head. It like flies through a window. He shoots a slingshot. It goes and hits a cat. as that happens, Todd just flies like forward off of my shoulders, and then I just trip and tumble like just trip off of him and just tumble, and then just face
Yep.
plant right in front of my mom.
Fantastic. So would you call that trouble or shame?
I was going for shame.
Shame, absolutely. You look up, and the first thing you see is a person stands up, uh, like in the window with the elk head, like on their head, uh, yet they're laughing at you. Um, the
As he looks up, he's just like, are you a fish with frog legs? I can't
Nice.
tell.
Todd is like still running, but he just face plants into a pole. And unfortunately, that pole is directly where the town guard is standing. So you have accumulated one shame and one trouble, and the guard says, "What ho, goblins, adventurers, a quest." Um, and then your mother says, "Oh boy, you would best be. I'm dragging you home right now. You and Todd. Yeah, you have a lot of explaining to do. We better not start a minor war with this town because of this. Are you drunk?"
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. So your mom just grabs you by the collar and starts to drag you, rolling pin in hand. One like little like a wizard pops out from behind a corner and says, "Alakazam, Alakazoom, fear me, for I shall become your doom." And then she just whacks him on the head with the rolling pin. He's just gone. Um, Todd is still like kind of dazed, like walking around.
He's just doing like the confused meme, just like
Yeah. Eventually, your dad does kind of show up. Your dad, who has just an incredibly thick mustache.
oh yeah.
That is his main defining trait. He is wearing like a polo, like button-down shirt.
Yep.
And he says,
He has khakis on with like really
"Oh
nice
yeah,"
formal shoes.
and flip-flops, but with sandals. He has one formal shoe and one flip-flop.
He found them in the dumpster.
They're not even flip-flops, they're sandals. And he says, "Well, I suppose I should probably get this boy home to his parents. They're probably not very worried about him. We're goblins." So, "All right, boy, come along now." And he puts a fatherly hand on Todd's shoulder and starts to lead him away. I'll be 100% honest.
Oh my goodness.
We could choose to continue where this goes by rolling another d12 and figuring out what the next adventure could be. Maybe someone else steps aside. Some examples of a couple adventures are maybe you want to shoplift some minor magical items from a wizard, or make a cool hideout in the woods behind the dungeon. And some of the potential things that try to stop you are noble lantern-jawed adventurers, inscrutable fairies, or low-ranking minions of the Dark Lord. But I'm just going to end this here because I want to keep trying out some of these one-page RPGs.
Yeah, trying out some of the other stuff.
I loved this one.
Yeah, this is fun.
Like, that is super fun. And honestly, this is the type of thing, like, running a short campaign that goes for, like, 1 to 3 months, depending on how often you play, is super doable. Like, with a little bit of prep work and not just complete ad-lib, like, this is pretty rad. It's so easy. It's so understandable. It's really fast. That sounds cool to me. So
yeah, 100%.
I would love to hear
This is great.
if you guys, if any of you at home play one of these, please tell us how it goes, because I would love to know. So, Drew, I believe this goes to your turn.
Yes.
The Adventures of Todd and Dave.
Todd and Dave, the second best goblin duo that Paper Dungeon has seen.
Man, I hope that somehow someone finds this and makes fan art with Todd and Dave, the goblin duo.
All right. So let's see. So the one I think I want to try out first is Tax Cuts and Pixie Dust. I'm gonna throw it in the Discord, and try to and hopefully I can have a fair understanding of how the heck this works.
The nice part about us putting these in the Discord as well is that I can also read it and make sense of the things that you're saying.
Exactly. Uh,
So I was talking to Drew beforehand, and he was like, "Man, this is gonna be rough." I was like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be. This stream is gonna be something." I would find it so funny if people liked this well enough that they asked us to do it again.
honestly, all right. Let's.
Like I'm in too. I love this stuff.
All right. I haven't now. Okay, unlike Aaron, I didn't prep enough to actually like be able to like understand what's going on. So I'm just gonna read it. I'm just gonna read down the page. We're gonna figure out.
Did you post it in the D&D resources?
I did. Yes, I think I did. Maybe.
I'm not seeing it,
Uh.
and I don't know how to refresh. Dad, I'm scared.
Do the thing. Modify spoilers. No. Okay.
Oh, you know it's bad when you can't operate a Discord message.
Thing.
Oh, I see. Yeah, there we go.
Okay. For some reason, I needed to. Okay, that's weird. For some reason, I needed to type something in there. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, tax cuts and pixie dust. This is a story of the fairy court, the home of a sorted assortment of terrible woodland spirits doing terrible things in a desperate bid to sit atop the fairy throne. You are those woodland spirits, and the election season is just around the corner. A quick initiation. This is a tabletop role-playing game where you and two or more of your friends, well, in this case, it's just us two.
It's me. We got it.
Yep. Work as a team to simultaneously create and play out a grand tale of leprechauns and liars. That's funny. One person is the overseer who narrates the story and arbitrates the consequences of the character's actions. The rest of you play and improvise as the main characters. To play, you'll need a handful of ordinary six-sided dice, some pen and paper, and a twisted imagination. Well, shoot, we got all of that just between the two of us. All right.
Perfect.
Starting out. Create your character. All right.
I need a piece of paper.
All right. So, Aaron, I need you to roll a d6.
Excuse me, just throwing stuff on the ground rapidly. I couldn't hear anything for a couple seconds there.
Thank you, Shraden, for including Todd and Dave in your world. They will live on in happiness over there, I'm sure.
You just get ready because Todd's about to make a comeback.
All right. So yeah. So Aaron, go ahead and roll a d6.
Already did. I'm a goblin.
You're a goblin. Nice. All right. So and so for the viewers, so roll a die to determine your fairy species. Each one grants a different fairy power. So Grant is a goblin with the power of practical jokes.
Nice.
All right. And then the second part, roll another d6 to determine why you should vote. Why the citizens should vote for you. This is your fairy public persona. So play it up.
So I got a 5, which means that I can quote all sorts of boring and nerdy statistics to prove how great I am.
Wonderful, Aaron. This just sounds like you right now.
Yeah, this is just me. This is just my fairy persona.
Number 3, choose if your fairy is either a backroom finagler or a public-facing dazzler.
I mean, so me as a person, I'm definitely the finagler type.
I would agree.
I feel like Todd is a dazzler, though.
Oh, 100%. Best believe it.
With all those fancy statistics, I'm gonna say he's a dazzler.
Great. All right. Number 4, write a secret political scandal, such as hates puppets or caught embezzling money from orphanages to fund jelly bean addiction. Wow. And pass it to the player on your right. They may use this later in the game to reveal it as part of another player's sordid past, maybe even yours. Okay, so Aaron,
I will send you a private message over Zoom. And I will tell you what my dark secret is.
Yes.
Also, my fancy name, because that's step 5, is Todd.
Finally
I know
choose
that
a
it's like
cool
choose a fancy fairy
Yeah,
name.
yeah. Number 5. Finally choose a cool fairy name like uh, Goblin Go-
Gobbledygook
Gobbledygook
or
or
Frumple Stinksbad.
from Stinks.
Reading messed up names
Dude,
is
that's
that's my toxic trait.
honestly.
Is my ability to read that.
All right. Once you all have characters, come together as a group and choose a campaign slogan for your party. You're all members of the
um,
same party, but like any politician, each of you secretly wants the fairy throne for yourself.
okay, fairy slogan for the throne.
And we're for the sake of this, we're gonna say it is Todd and Dave back together again.
Todd and Dave back together. This is look. I hope that somehow every single one of these games includes Todd and Dave.
Yes, this is
Because
just
we're not creative enough to make new ones every time.
we should just
So we have to
rename
do
the
the same
stream
one.
to the Adventures of Todd and Dave.
Yes, absolutely. Because this is clearly Todd and Dave out of college.
Yes.
This
Oh,
is what they
100%.
are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
They after a good beatdown, they decided that sneaking out of the house and thievery was not their thing, so they went to law school.
yes,
That,
absolutely.
that way they could steal and lie
Um,
in an official manner.
oh, geez, hold on. Okay.
All right. Are you coming up with your
Yeah, with
secrets?
with the dark secret that could be revealed, that could be mine or someone else's.
I mean, you could say that what you once had an underage drinking incursion with the humans.
Nice.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Okay, great. Good to know. Okay. Let's see. All right. So,
Okay.
bringing out the dice. When your character attempts a task whose outcome is important to the narrative or something simply far too ridiculous for the common folk to succeed at, it's time to grab some dice. When you do something risky or set up a friend for success, assemble your pool. You start with 1 6-sided die, but can add more by meeting the following conditions. If you are a dazzler, get a +1 die when you address a problem through your public persona by using promises, public theatrics, or debate. If you're a finagler, you instead get a +1 to problems behind the scenes. If someone rolled to set you up for success, you may also add an additional 1. Let's see. Okay, wait. If someone rolled to set you up for it, so you have to roll to even try to help.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. So you can like set someone up for success just by rolling a d6, and then 0, 1. The amount of successes that you get, change that, like how many potential die that they get.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing something risky, the same thing occurs. Still, that d6 system, basically a 6 is a success, and so that's just what you want to get, and you get more or less die depending on how much you've succeeded or failed, how much setup you've put into it and stuff like that. Now, an interesting thing that I'm reading is that if you blow it, if you get 0 successes, your class changes. So if you were a dazzler, you become a finagler, as everyone's like, oh, this guy sucks, so now I have to work behind the scenes. But if you're a finagler, you become a dazzler, so that way they're like, man, that guy was pulling strings, and you have to step forward and be like, don't worry guys, it's all in the clear, I'm not a bad person. Which is super. You have to like change how you play the character, which is super awesome.
All right.
Oh, and you can choose to get an additional success by leaking your scandal about another player to distract from when you blow it. That's super cool. Question, Drew, does that mean that you have to send me a scandal for me to use at some point in time?
Yeah. For the sake of this, we will say at some point in college, in law school, you and Dave had a falling out, and so now you're mortal enemies right now.
Well, yeah. I
in the
mean,
law.
look. I mean, it's just business.
Yeah,
It's just
exactly. It's just
business.
business. So we'll say that Dave is your opponent, and you would know that Dave. Uh, all right. So I will. Yes. All right. Um.
Yeah, yeah. Send it because we want it to be a surprise for the people watching. Doo-doo.
All right. It does feel kind of funny that based off of what you sent me, but it also feels like it makes sense.
I'm very interested. This is super interesting. I certainly wouldn't say it's exactly one page, but it's also like a lot of font stuff and like graphs, and there's some really good art in it too. Who? Let's see. Oh, it has a character sheet. That's cool. Um, this was written by Stephen Davey and Finn Lloyd. Um, go check it out. Do that kind of stuff. Oh man, nice.
All right.
Yours is a lot more straightforward than mine. Mine's like whimsical.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yours took a dark turn.
All right. So then.
I'm gonna give the people context that doesn't actually relate. If you were to compare what I sent to Drew to what he sent to me, I was like, oh, the Fizzwazzers and Whiz Jams are just all up in a tiff. And then, like, Drew sends me, my mother died at the age of 4. Like, it's like it's like a completely different vibe shift.
Yes, it is. 100%. Totally accurate.
All right. So since you are also running the campaign, I believe that you have the overseer stuff as well.
All right. So just give me a few moments. Chat. Now would be a great time to ask any questions while I read over this because I need a moment.
Also, I hope that everyone's having a blast for this impromptu whatever the crap this is happening. Because yeah, like we were all ready to run a 2-person main session thing, and then DJ was like, "Oh guys, I'm in a bad way," and we were like, "We'll find something to do." I honestly hope that we find like a mini series out of this somehow. I think that would be hilarious, or like some kind of Patreon content that you guys will have to watch at some point in time. That's me, Aaron, the showmaster.
All right, so I need to roll a couple die here.
A couple of die, set up a thing.
All right, so we're gonna do. Okay, so that is for that. Okay. Okay, great.
Sorry about all the dead air. There's so many things to read. I do like the art on this though. It gives very whimsical vibes. As a reminder, if you're interested in this, please find it and then like give people money for stuff like this. It's not easy to make a RPG no matter how large or small it is.
All right, this is gonna be very, very interesting.
I'm ready for it. I'm fully prepared.
So here's what I'm going to attempt to do. We're gonna have four sessions. All right, four sessions of debate. And really not even 4 sessions of debate. Really more like 3 sessions of debate. So there are going to be in the first 2 there are going to be some topics that you have to work through, and then the on the third day where it's going to be like there's a special scenario that happens that's going to throw you off your tracks, and then in the 4th session we're going to determine who gets elected, and hopefully this works.
I believe in you.
Yep.
This is meant for like multiple people, and we're like, screw it, we're
doing it live. That's right.
You know how hard it is to find a short RPG that is good for 1 player and 1 DM, or even just 2 players, no DM? It's tough.
Yeah, dude. All right, so to get this party started. So to set the scene, Todd, you are walking through the Feywild forests, because I'm just going to say this is in the Feywild, because that's where pixies live.
This is canon. This is main campaign canon.
Yep, this main campaign canon. There's been a lot of topics recently, a lot of hot debate between in the courts. All right, between some of the higher ups. A lot of talk about war brewing, battles happening. But you're a simple man. All right, you're still working your way up. You just recently graduated from Garvard Law School.
Oh, Garvard. It's a very esteemed.
Uh-huh.
I push up my monocle.
You managed to pass with flying colors, top of your
course.
class.
I was the only one in
it. Yes, you were.
Other than my mortal enemy.
other than your mortal enemy, who was just behind you in the grading, your old friend but now rival, Dave. Both of you actually are walking next to each other, but not acknowledging the other person's existence.
It's like when you're like bye, and then you both start walking the same direction.
Uh-huh.
Like, I'm just not gonna acknowledge.
Yep, just don't say anything. Just don't acknowledge it. But you're walking up. You see this huge coliseum of where the court is, where all the debate happens between these grand figures. And you are just approaching these huge double doors. And as you get closer, you do actually notice there are some smaller halfling-sized doors for halflings, dwarves, and like goblins. So as you walk up, you begin to open the door and start to go through. But then at the same time, Dave also tries to go through and cut you off. And the two of you just get wedged in there for a moment before you both just kind of just explode through.
It makes that noise.
That's right. And after both kind of giving each other a death glare, Dave will say, we aren't children anymore. All right, I will mop the floor with you, literally, if I have to. Stay out of my way.
You're damn right. We're not kids anymore. But I swear to God, by the end of the day, you may be a corpse.
Nice.
Let's get on with it. Todd really grew into his voice.
Yeah. After that, the two of you actually go separate ways as you both go around and enter on opposite sides of the court, being on opposite sides of the debate floor. For this first day of debate, the hot topic is actually as you enter and you find your seat, the head leader, the head debates leader of this court, he pulls out from somewhere a gavel and has a very clearly a fake wig on, with the white curly hair and a big bushy beard.
Very Lord Fauntleroy.
But it's clearly fake, as you could see it just hanging off of him, the beard. But he pulls out a gavel and hits it to get everyone quiet. It's all right, with everyone here now, I will call this order to session. First topic for us to discuss today. There have been a lot of complaints about the dryads again. They are getting in the way of some of the recent construction happening. As you all know, the war effort is very important right now, and that requires a lot of resources. However, some of the dryads have been getting in the way of that, so it is up to us and up to the new leader to figure out a way to deal with this. Mr. Sir Todd, I believe it is your turn to go and express your thoughts on the matter.
Of course. Judge. Can I call you Judge?
Oh, of course. Please, I love it when you do.
Everybody, I would first like to point out, statistically, if you were to look at the actual rate of which trees are being cut down, it's very important to know these dryads are completely out of place. We are cutting down trees, sure. With every single tree cut down, new trees are being planted. We strip them of any necessary resources, and then bam, right back into the ground. We're even tearing out the roots. That counts. That counts absolutely as tilling fertile soil. The Dryads are in the wrong. They need to be correctly reprimanded. This is what I suggest. People of the fine Fey lands, one small segment. We are currently in the midst of war. We are ready for battle. One swift movement through the Dryad lands. Subjugate them quickly, efficiently, and it will be done. Sir, this is a simple matter. It is not even a matter for debate.
Thank you, Sir Todd. Aaron, I will have you roll your I'll let's see. Let me real quick. I'm gonna refresh my brain. So okay, so you get at least 1d6.
Yep, 1d6.
And I will even say, I will give you an additional d6, because
Fantastic.
of your excellent role playing skills.
Well, thank you. I assume that would be from the Dazzler +1 through using my public persona.
Yes.
And also my I use my quotes.
Yes.
And stuff like that, and my big numbers. So I need to try to roll a 6 on one of these two.
Mm-hmm.
That's unfortunate. That's not a lot of dice. Real quick, can I try to set myself up for a future one?
Yeah, I'll allow that.
As I'm kind of walking around, I would like to slip a whoopee cushion on the seat of Dave.
Oh, okay.
So that way,
all right.
So like when he gets up, I'm just gonna like throw a quick one underneath it. So that way, when he sits down at the end of his debate,
okay,
it makes a noise and it absolutely is hilarious.
Yes, go for it. Go ahead and roll a d6 to see how you do with that.
Okay, we got one success.
All right, very well done.
In the future, I can have +1 to my die pool.
Yep.
Setting it up. And now for the actual roll. Kind of bummed that I wasted that 6.
Hey, it's all right.
2 1s.
2 1s.
Two
Okay.
1s.
All right. So after you kind of finish your speech, Dave will actually stand and say, "Objection! If you actually go out into those forests, Todd, instead of staying up in your castle all high and mighty, you would see thousands of trees are chopped down with hundreds of dryads homeless. Homeless, everyone! We cannot allow such debauchery in our fine plane of existence." And you like, and after he says this, a bunch of people like on both sides kind of start to kind of get louder, like, "No, he's wrong. Yes, he's right. What do you mean?" And until eventually the judge has to say, "Order in my court. Order in my court. Now that is quite enough." After he does that, Todd does sit back down because he stood to object to you.
All right.
And then he sits back down and. Like it's just dead silence. It's just dead silence.
Todd will once again stand up and say,
Well, someone had a little bit of a whoopsie.
As you can tell from this buffoon's sorry display of etiquette. He clearly has no idea what he's talking about. First of all, dryads don't have homes. Therefore, they can't be homeless. They live in trees. Yes, indeed, we are cutting down trees. How many trees do you need to make up a forest? It takes a whole forest to raise one tree, people. And if you look at the numbers, the dryads are outnumbered by trees 10 to 1. 10 to 1! We could chop down 100 times more trees! People, you are not looking at the big picture. Look, Judge, I'm going to get real close to the judge.
Yep.
I'm just going to get real close. I'm going to say, Judge, my opponent in this debate, as you can tell, has disrespected your courtroom. Hilariously, if I might say.
I would like to call at least contempt of court. But I understand that us being the Fey folk, perhaps a goof or a gag might lighten the mood. Sir, I would like to apologize for any misconduct that is done today.
And I will hold out a hand in a show of solidarity with the judge.
Okay. All right.
Offering for him to shake it.
Okay. Go ahead. Roll another check with your base d6 and then your dazzler and also your setup that you had. So
Fantastic.
3d6.
As another thing, concealed in my hand is one of those little hand buzzer things.
Okay.
Can I add another d6 for that?
Sure. I'll allow it.
So that's what, 4d6?
That's 46.
All right, here it is. Here it is, baby. Here's the big one. Here's the big crush. All right, all right. That is 2 6s.
Hey,
Yeah,
all right.
baby.
Very, very good. So with two successes, it works out great, and you are one step closer to world domination.
Yeah.
So as you kind of make this grand gesture, and everyone actually begins to like, oh yes, he just does make a good point. You hear some like a few whispers, and the judge kind of scanning the room a little bit, and then looking back down at you will kind of nod his head slowly before reaching out his own hand to take yours.
And I say, did you feel that? A shock of inspiration. We have done it, people. We have found common ground.
And then with that, everyone kind of stands up and cheers. Woo! Yeah, Todd! Woo!
I give kind of a snide grin over the shoulder to Dave.
Yes. After you go off to take your seats, Dave will stand and begins to rebuttal and make some remarks. I'm not gonna roleplay all
not
that.
worth
right
it. Not worth
But,
it. We got him.
But yeah. He exclaims some of his own findings and things. But it seems to fall on deaf ears as you have pretty well won the crowd over. Well done, excellent
Thank
job,
you.
Aaron. That will
I rest my case, Judge.
after Dave finishes his rebuttal, he will sit down, move the whoopee cushion, that way he doesn't embarrass himself again, and we'll sit back down.
Oh, who put that there?
And the judge will say, all right, well, that does conclude our business for today. Everyone, please return here tomorrow morning, and we will continue our business and our work here. Thank you. Before he dismisses everyone.
Have a fine day, Judge.
I'm sounding slowly more and more like handsome Squidward.
Working the cashier again, Squiddy.
As you stand and begin to leave, as a couple people do shake your hand and say, "Oh, excellent work, Todd."
Every single one is just.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, you're sharing that shock of inspiration with everyone.
I felt a connection, didn't you?
Yes.
Yes, that's what it was.
And you leave to go home and relax and be about your day.
Yes.
Now, Aaron, before we start the next round of debates, I will allow you, if you have anything you want to do as a preemptive setup to help yourself, feel free to explain what you would want to try.
I actually have I do have another possible suggestion trail.
Mm-hmm.
We have 6 total RPGs, and the first one took around 30 minutes.
Uh-huh.
This one took around 30 minutes. If we can fit another RPG in 30 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
we can do 3 in the first half, 3 in the last half, call it a night.
It's perfect.
Is this a good time?
Sure. You know what? I will. Here's what we're gonna do. Because we do need to see who gets elected between you or Todd.
It's a very important thing.
So first of all, for the second day, we're gonna wrap it in. We're gonna speed round. For the second day, the topic of discussion for the second day, is how too many fey creatures are being summoned to the human world by witches.
Oh, every time.
And so this time Dave is the first to the stand, and actually in a surprising move attempts to defame you by bringing up your crippling addiction to pop rocks.
Immediately, as he's like,
This fool with his crippling addiction to pop rocks.
I go, what? And then immediately, just a bag of pop rocks falls out of my jacket.
100%. And he begins to go on some ridiculous, long-winded monologue on how this connection to pop rocks that you have is actually fueling the issues of fey creatures being summoned by magicians.
I am frantically
because
I'm leaning over to my secretary and
Damn it, who leaked that? Was it you? That's good, but I'm very upset still. We need to get on to... Do we have anything on him?
Yes.
We've lost today.
And I will actually roll to see how well Dave does to win the crowd.
You've been had, bamboozled. Cragwazzle.
Yes. Ooh, very interesting. All right, you after his speech, you do see seems to be a few heads, a few faces seem to be kind of agreeing with him. A few nods here and there, even maybe one or two people that seemed really enthusiastic about you now yesterday are now like, that is interesting.
pop rocks. That's hard, dude.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
That's tough.
And you conclude your business for the day before eventually returning on the third day.
Also, assuming that I most likely failed the second day, I probably switch over from Dazzler to Finagler.
Yes.
And I definitely dig up some very scandalous videos of what I'm prepared to present about my opposition in the next day.
100%. 100%. As you are though, like heading to the courtroom, some members of your team actually approach you and say, "Todd, look, we got some bad news. Bad news, all right?
Bad news.
Jerry, the president of the party,
What?
all right? The president of the team. He's run off to marry some woman. The press,
A woman?
the press is asking questions. All right, they want answers. They want to know what's going on. Look, we need
But
your
he was
help."
already engaged to 4 other wives. That's just too many.
I wasn't ready for that one. Look, we have to come up with a way to stall. We need something. We need something to tell them.
He's been replaced by a doppelganger. Doppelganger, but it's under control because the doppelganger has his memories. Find a doppelganger, we're pinning on him.
Very good.
I've got a debate to win.
Go ahead.
Can't handle this today.
Go ahead. Roll to see how well they secretly find a doppelganger and pin this all on him.
Oh, fantastic. Here we go.
And this will include your scrutiny since this is behind the scenes.
Yes. Come on. 1-6.
Good. Hey, that is still something. So you give off these instructions, and they say, all right, yeah, all right, we'll get right to that.
Yeah. Go find out. Just deal with it. What do I pay? Do I pay you? What do I potentially pay you for?
Yeah, and they run off to go figure this out. As you enter the courtroom, You see there's a buzz in the air. There's a lot of whispers. A lot of news has been going around recently, right? And a lot of people are concerned about their leaders, right? Who they are and what they might be up to. As you enter, you are the last one to enter the room, and the judge says, "All right, I do believe that we can start this meeting. Sir Todd, it is again your turn to start the floor."
Honorable Judge, I would just like to start off by saying, to clear the air, my esteemed competitor has claimed some scandalous falsehoods, completely unproven, about me. But his hands are not so clean. I would beckon you to examine over to screen number 1.
As you do, the lights dim as the on said arcane image device, images of and video of Dave in his teen to young adult, to even not so long ago, of him just blackout drunk all over the place, all over the Feywild.
Esteemed members of the Fey Court, Pop Rocks, even if it were to be true, pale in comparison to a terribly human addiction. Alcohol. How petty. How insignificant. It's not even interesting. Those fragile humans and elves and dwarves suffer from this. Although, nothing against elves. I've seen many of you out here, and frankly, your wine is impeccable. But, honestly, you wish for someone to suffer from such a mortal ailment, and you expect them to lead you to the correct choice. My friends, my enemies, my undecided, reconsider. At least a completely unproven vice is unproven, while I have presented immaculate evidence, direct imagery from totally not at all questionable means of acquisition. People, that is my presentation today. Whatever the strange goings on, whether it be, I don't know, some workshop elves stealing, I don't know, people's shoes, or whatever it is, too many cobblers. I think you all know I'm going to be making the correct choice in comparison.
As you kind of finish, somebody does stand and say, "And what about the rumors that one of your team members, Jerry, has run off with some other woman? Do you expect us to respect you and your team after such a scandal?"
Thank you very much. Jerry did not run off. Jerry was kidnapped by a vicious doppelganger assassin that I can only assume was sent by someone who would potentially oppose my party.
As you
not at all subtle look.
As you do say that, bursting through the double doors, you see one of your own team members like kicking a doppelganger who's like in chains, like into the room.
And so the culprit is found.
The doppelganger says, "Yes, I was the person. I impersonated Jerry, for I sought to bring down what was his name again? His name's Todd. Todd.
It's Todd.
I am so very sorry for my actions."
Yes, it's a shame that apologies mean nothing in the face of justice Take him away quickly before he says anything. Take him away. Take him away. As you can see, someone has been tomfoolerizing this fine courtroom by interfering with my very own team. I am too genteel of a person to point fingers, but statistically, I only have one opponent.
So, some light applause from the crowd before the judge says, thank you, Sir Todd. I believe that is all that we have for today. Tomorrow, we will reconvene and count the votes to see who the next leader of our Fey court shall be.
I'll see all of you at the voting booths.
Oh.
And Dave, good luck in hell.
Afterwards, you do leave. One of your team members does approach you with the doppelganger, who's now just standing next to them, and says, "So look, we found this actor. He's totally willing to go along with everything. However, we're giving him half the cut on the budget."
Half?
Yeah.
Half?
That was his price to help us.
Yes.
Well, we were desperate, we needed something. He was the first guy we found in like 100 miles.
It would have been cheaper to hire a hitman to kill Jerry.
We can still do that.
And his 5 potential wives.
Do you want us to do that, boss?
No, just 50%. That's like over 40%. Should have. Did you haggle at all?
Well, a little, yeah. I mean, but to be fair, boss, right? Like, if
What did you haggle him down for? Did you just offer him the presidency?
If we do win the presidency, though, like we're gonna make a lot of money, though. So like we could we'll be able to like pay him and just shoo him away, and we'll be fine, right?
Tomothy. If this goes bad, and we go down for this,
I
will make sure that you're the one who suffers the most. Tomothy, this is on your head.
Duly noted.
You had better win this.
Duly noted. Yes, sir.
Good.
Yeah.
Because I know, from the years in the war, I know many ways to make a person suffer. All right. I guess all we can do now is pray or drink. I have some pop rocks if you're interested.
That would sound lovely.
Fantastic.
So the two of you and the rest of your team, they go off and have a fun and enjoyable night. Now, Aaron, this is not in the rules. However, I'm going to say it is because it's more fun this way. I need you to roll a percentile die.
Oh, no. Oh, the D10 and another D10? That's just a bad thing. Alrighty. That's a strong... Alright, is it good to roll low or roll high?
You're aiming to roll low.
Oh, 15.
15. Very, very good. So you go off, have a wonderful night before reconvening the next day and discovering that you won by a small landslide. You had 80% of the vote, and Dave didn't even make an appearance. He wasn't even there.
First order of business, we make pop rocks legal, baby. Oh, Todd! Tomothy, you're back in.
The judge then says, "Congratulations, Sir Todd. You are now officially the chairman of the Fey Court of the minor league on the 5th level of the 2nd court in the city of Beirut."
My dream position. There's nowhere to go but down from here. Thank you, esteemed judge. And thank you, voters, for you are who this was all for. Definitely not me.
So some confused
Goodbye, everybody.
applaud as the people clap for you, and Todd goes on to lead his people in his that he has small section of the court that he has jurisdiction over. He goes and influences in
Yeah.
grand and great ways.
Big changes. That's what we're looking
And-
for tonight.
Exactly, that's right. So yeah, that is the game, which is very, very interesting and very
Oh,
hard
yeah,
to make
that
up
is
on the
something.
spot.
Well, I think it's also easier to make up on the spot if you have like 3 or 4 players
Yeah,
that
if
can
you
like
have
bounce off of each other, and it's
Uh-huh.
a whole lot less work for you to do.
But
All right.
still pretty fun. So guys,
Oh, yeah,
again, that
absolutely.
was Tax Cuts and Pixie Dust. Check it
That's
out.
like my absolute type of game where all I have to do is argue absurd points
Yeah,
for no particular reason and make
that's
up
right.
stuff.
Just make up
This
stuff.
is like the perfect game for me.
That was very, very good. That was very enjoyable.
As a little bit of a change of pace, because I think we can fit one more in, and then we can take a break and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then who knows? Maybe everyone's left by that point, and we can just stop. We're just
We'll just cut it short.
we're going to have a bit of a genre change, because I'm going to hop over to another Grant Howitt one-page RPG called Nice Marines. This is a game based on it's an alternate reality Warhammer 40K, if you know what that is, where you play as a space marine, an immortal giant genetically engineered to be the perfect instrument of war. You and your squad mates are oath-sworn protectors of the Astral Commonwealth and one another. The iconoclasts of the galaxy shiver in terror at the very mention of your name. However, support forces have not arrived following the recent liberation of Vanus 4, leaving you in charge of a diplomatic envoy dedicated to rebuilding after the conflict. You're not prepared for this. This whole RPG is about you being a massive war machine attempting to be like civil towards normal people. So I'm gonna need you to write your stats,
Okay.
like actual words.
Oh, okay.
Your stats consist of being nice to civilians.
Okay.
These take a little bit to write down, so I'll give you time. Tell me when you're ready.
Nice to civilians. Okay.
Building and repairing things.
Okay.
Gathering information.
Okay.
Holding parades.
Holding parades.
Yeah, like you host a parade.
Okay.
You got to keep that civilian gosh dang energy up and ready and
Yeah,
thankful for your presence.
Vim and vigor.
Parades are important.
Yeah.
Impressing civilians.
Okay. Pressing. Okay.
Lifting heavy objects.
Okay. Wonderful. Great.
And protecting civilians. So those are going to be your abilities. Now, I want you to assign a specific dice to each of these stats.
Okay. Okay.
Of D10, D12, and D20, you can assign one of those to a stat.
Okay.
So choose one of those, and then put down D20, choose one of them, put down D12, choose one of them, put down D10.
Okay. Okay. I will put. Okay. I'm thinking this guy. So he's a Marine, but he's like reconnaissance. He's like
Oh yeah,
he's like stealth
you're the
ops.
scout marine.
Yeah, exactly.
Special
So
ops.
I
Green
think
Beret.
I think gathering information is going to be a D20.
D20, nice.
And when you're doing front lines kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you're on your own. You have to be able to manage things on your own. So I think building and repairing things, he's also going to be pretty good at.
Very important. Oh
So
yeah, well you've gotten yourself. You're basically MacGyver.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that can be my D12.
Mm-hmm.
And then uh we'll say the D10 is lifting heavy objects, because sometimes
Okay.
you gotta search
You're
search
so
different
Marine.
things. Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
So you also have 2 D8s and 2 D6s that you can assign to different things.
Okay.
So your remaining 4 will be split between 2 D8s and 2 D6. Now,
Okay.
I also, my favorite thing about this is the D6 or the dice level defines a confidence level in that ability. So for your D20, you're considered divinely ordained for that purpose. The D12, you are zealous about that purpose.
Okay.
A D10, you're very keen.
Okay.
A D8 is your practiced, and
Okay.
a D6 is your cautious when
Okay.
it comes to that.
Okay. So I have a D6 in being nice to civilians,
Nice.
and a D6 in holding parades.
Oh yeah, you're not a people person.
Not a people person. And then a D8 in impressing civilians.
Oh yeah, but people love to look at you. You just don't talk.
And then a D8 in protecting civilians.
Well, yeah,
What's a
and that
Marine if
just
he
comes
can't
natural.
protect?
That
Exactly.
just comes naturally. It's like you lift a car of a person. Oh, there's a person down there. I didn't even notice.
Exactly.
Also, can you please roll a D10?
Okay. Roll a D10. Love
Yes.
it. This. That's the wrong die. That. Okay. I rolled a 7.
A 7. So this defines one thing about civilian culture you have never been able to understand. It kind of fascinates and perplexes you, but you just don't get it. Art. What's the deal? What's the deal with art,
What's
what's going on here?
What's the point of just a strange abstract image that has no utilitarian purpose? It's not a map.
Look,
It's not a road. It's not like a guide. It's not
every
anything.
once in a while I'm like, okay, I can maybe, but I don't know, some of the things I don't know about that.
Uh-huh.
Now another one of my favorite parts about this, and one of the things that really drew me to it, is it is listed, you automatically succeed at all combat actions. You wear an inch thick powered armor, carry a machine gun so big a normal person cannot lift it, and own a sword with a chainsaw blade that can cut clean through a grav car. Also, you may choose a piece of equipment that you bring everywhere with you.
Okay.
Your options are flamethrower,
Okay.
ancient energy pistol,
Okay.
laser shotgun, atomic jetpacks, psi axe, or grapple cannon.
I think a grapple cannon. You
Grapple,
got to be able to
that. Yeah,
move around, maneuver, get
those
to.
scouts.
Uh-huh.
Now, unlike combat, non-combat actions are difficult and confusing. You can accidentally crush a man's skull without thinking. You're heavy enough to damage buildings just by entering them, and you haven't spoken to a civilian in centuries. When you attempt to resolve a situation without resorting to combat, roll the die associated with the relevant approach and consult the chart below. A 1 is a terrible failure. 2 to 4 is mostly failure, but some success. 5 to 6 is a success. 7 to 10 is success with minor collateral. 11 to 19 is success with dire collateral. And 20 is a success with catastrophic collateral. Now, what that means is you will succeed with a minor collateral, means a civilian is upset or injured, or items are damaged. Dire collateral is civilian death, priceless items destroyed. Catastrophic collateral is buildings destroyed, mass deaths, civil war declared. So you the
What?
D20,
So you don't want to roll. You don't want to roll really high, but you also
not
don't want
too
to roll
high,
really low.
not too low.
Just
You
right
just
in the
kind of want
middle.
to hit that sweet spot. You see, because this is the thing, right? This is what they're talking about with that non-combat, where it's like you go to shake someone's hand, and at worst, you just don't understand what a handshake is.
Uh huh.
But also at worst is you totally do and squeeze way too hard and
And you
just
just.
rip off the guy's arm. So you kind of want to hit that medium softness of
Mhm.
handshake that
Mhm.
doesn't kill a person.
This is gonna be so great. This is gonna be great. I love this.
So, this is like one of my favorite concepts I've ever seen in an RPG. This is pretty rad. So basically, there are two factions vying for supremacy. These in post-war, there's two general like forces that are going against each other, and it is you to kind of like placate them and like deal with their whole thing. Can you roll a d6 twice, and I will do the same.
Man. I got double ones.
Double ones. So on one side, you have an incredibly pious elite administration squad.
Okay.
They're litigation and God. That's what they do.
Okay.
On the other hand, you have a fiercely opportunist group of sanctioned executioners. Um, and I'm just going to tell you right off the bat, you're pretty much alone in this one. You scouted ahead. You defeated like the insurgency that was on this planet. It is post-war. The people who are sent to like clean up the like after war fights and stuff, they're just not showing up. You're not sure why they got waylaid. You haven't been given any information. But currently, what is going on is like these are sanctioned executioners, and there's a lot of like surviving. Like you're a stealth operative,
Yeah.
so when you defeated the enemy, it wasn't a big flat. I mean, there was a lot of big flashy cutting people in half and
Uh huh.
throwing them
Yeah.
forward
Yeah.
into
Of course,
orbit.
as you do.
But obviously, it's not as much as if like a frontliner had gone through and razed half the planet to the ground. There are a lot of survivors from said insurgency. Now, one of these groups, aka that elite administration squad, is attempting to catalog and maintain order of a like basically prisoners of war. The sanctions executioners are taking the opportunity to do their jobs, which is to execute them. And
Okay.
so currently, the problem at hand has been basically in transit between prisons. The sanctioned executioners have been raiding like prison transports legally.
Mhm.
They're
Mhm.
sanctioned.
Uh
They
huh.
have the government's approval on this.
Mhm.
Um, but the administration squad obviously is not up for that, and so they, between the two of them, they have gone to you,
Mhm.
and the people are freaking out about this.
Mhm.
So not the whole group of them. It's not like they're both standing there or anything like that. But they sent an agent. They're like, "Hey, executioner squad, what's their deal?" And then the executioner squad was like, "Hey, these are our prisoners. These are the ones we're supposed to be executing, and they're keeping them away from us."
Mhm.
And then an agent of the people has gone to you and said, "Look, we don't care what happens as long as we don't keep getting people ran over by runaway transport trucks
Mhm.
and crashing through small businesses."
Mhm. Mhm.
How do you seek to resolve this issue?
Okay. Um.
Morale is low.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. Uh. First of all, um. Oh boy. What can I do? This is interesting. So okay. So are there so now Aaron, are there actually like businesses and buildings like destroyed?
Oh yeah,
Uh
there are I mean, you are still a space marine,
Okay.
right? So most of these you destroyed. Um, but obviously there are like several like a lot of the like surviving civilians have set up shop and temporary like locales. You do know that like a transport truck ended up going off kilter as it was being raided, and they tried to just ram through the lines, and it ended up careening into a makeshift medic stand.
Okay.
um
Yeah.
the people were very upset about that. You're a
Okay.
little
So
confused because you don't understand how anyone could die to getting hit by a transport truck.
I think what I would do is I would attempt to protect the civilians by uh, uh, joining the transport truck unit, not to stop the executioners, not to protect the prisoners, but if something were to go awry and there were civilians in danger, I would attempt to protect them and prevent them from being crushed by giant trucks
Fantastic.
and the like.
So I'm just going to pan the camera over to you are lightly jogging alongside a transport truck going at full speed.
Uh-huh.
Um the it's a difficult thing because to the outside view it definitely looks like you're protecting this transport truck. You're very imposing, but you're not attacking the truck, therefore you must be protecting it. Um can you roll impressing civilians to kind of get a feel,
Okay.
like to for them to look at you, and do they fear you, or are they like, oh good, he's here to help us?
Okay. Yep, I can do that. Okay. I rolled a 4.
A 4. A 4 is mostly failure but some success. So people are terrified of you. They've literally seen you decimate an entire platoon of soldiers single-handedly,
Uh-huh.
using nothing but your bare hands because you
Uh-huh.
didn't want to waste ammo.
Uh-huh.
Like, it's going to take a lot to
Mhm.
make them not go, there is a literal, like, to me at this moment, this is God.
Mhm.
Because there is nothing I could do if you wanted to kill me
Mhm.
to stop that from occurring.
Mhm. Right.
But there was one moment in time that they saw the truck think that, oh shoot, is the truck getting raided, and it kind of veered directly into the line of a like a woman pushing a stroller.
Mhm.
And you just briefly grabbed the rim of one of the wheels and slightly tugged the truck back onto the path out of the way. And so at least that mom and their PTA group
Mhm.
is like pretty on your side. So you've got the
Nice.
the school system is starting to lean towards you.
Nice.
While you are jogging alongside, you notice something that perplexes you.
Okay.
It blows your mind. You're like, I don't understand what's going on here. Graffitied onto a ruin
Okay.
is a collection of what you think is art,
Okay. Okay.
and you're not sure if it's for you
Okay.
or against you, if art can even be that, because all
Okay.
it says is Space Marines are killers.
Okay. I mean, objectively speaking, he's not wrong. I have killed people,
And now, mind you,
and I am a
like,
space marine.
it is also like this graffiti. By a technical standpoint, you think that it's probably well done.
Uh-huh.
If you just look at the basic action of it, it has like gruesome images drawn of it, of like silhouettes of you like ripping someone open above your head as the blood drenches you,
Yep.
of shooting your grappling hook through an entire line of people.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
just a whole collage of your kind of events.
Okay.
And as you cross that, oh yes, would you like to do something?
Well, I was just gonna say. So okay. So after I see this, like, do I have a moment? Like, am I still like actively protecting this truck right now?
Well, yeah, you've got a moment in time. You're jogging past
Okay.
it. It's pretty half-hearted for you. You could outsprint this truck easily.
Okay, great. I'll just stop then and just take a moment and like more closely observe the painting and maybe ask around a little bit, kind of understand maybe who drew this very well put together piece of artwork, and what it's for. Like just trying to gather some intel, as it were.
Yeah. Please roll gathering information.
Lovely. This could.
This is the biggest chance for things to go potentially horribly wrong.
Okay.
Did you tell me you rolled high? Tell me you rolled high.
That's a 16.
A 16? Oh, that's so good. So you are the first thing you do is you find the nearest person that's like there, and you go, "Civilian, who drew this?" And they go, immediately they just point over at a direction, and you see like a teenager holding a can of like high-tech spray paint that like the nozzles like self-interchange and it's like digital. It makes 3D holographic spray paint. Like, super cool stuff.
Yeah.
They turn, they look at you eyes wide. They start to sprint. You go, "Civilian, halt!" Boom! And you just push off the ground and in an attempt to like basically stop this person, say, "Hey, you did a really good job." You go and your hand fully just goes and just the top half of their body is just taken off. And they just their legs like run a couple more steps and then just and you're standing there and this poor little teenager is just a smear that blends in almost perfectly with the spray paint.
I just wanted to compliment his artwork.
The person who told you like who painted it just passes out.
Oh my goodness. Oh. Okay, so the kid's like super dead.
Dead before impact. The can of spray paint rolls. But distraction occurs immediately as this happens because you slam this angsty teen into a wall and just murder a person. On the bright side, you learn exactly who painted this. They're an incredible up-and-coming artist, very well loved by the community.
Oh my god!
And you hear an altercation from the truck.
Oh dear!
As the sanctioned executioners using basically like net guns have wrapped up the movement system of this grav truck.
Oh, okay.
And halted its movement, are surrounding it, knowing that you are there and they cannot best you in combat. They are basically calling for you to intervene and give them the prisoners.
Oh, okay. Okay.
They say, "Oi, Space Marine!" I don't know why they sound like that, but they do. "Oi, Space Marine! These are our prisoners. We're here. We gotta kill them publicly.
Yep.
We've got the paperwork." And then you see, I don't know why, but I for some reason imagine that these grav trucks still have the roll windows.
Yep.
So they crank down the window of this high-tech truck,
Uh-huh.
and they say, actually, that paperwork does not apply because of subsection B34 of the Astriation Concords. Your jurisdiction here is completely unviable because they are currently in a legislative truck owned by us. Just because they are no longer in a prison does not mean that they are under your jurisdiction. Immediately, they just burst into squabbling. The executioners start pulling out grav axes, but like they do, but before they turn it on, they look at you and then they just resheath them.
Yeah. Okay. Now. Okay. So it would not be good if these two organizations like full on went into like a small gang war, right?
Oh yeah, I mean you could wipe them out if you wanted.
If I wanted, honest.
It's tough because you're like, well, if I just kill everyone here except for the prisoners and deliver the truck myself, it solves the problem.
Yes, that literally was going through my
If I
head.
kill everyone here and the prisoners and then deliver the truck,
Then there's no issues.
maybe you Thanos it. Maybe you kill half of them. There's a lot of options. There's a lot.
Okay. This is what I'll do. So I will. First thing I want to do is I want to verify what the nerd said about whether or not these prisoners are under whose jurisdiction they are under, under
okay.
a court of law.
That is excellent. Roll gathering information.
Okay. That's a 6.
A 6. That is perfect success.
Oh man, I'm good. Woo!
You very carefully. You're like, as you take your blood-covered hand.
Yep.
And you're like, you go to like reach for something, and you pause, and you're like, 2 fingers, and you very daintily like grab the paper and you hold it up.
He pulls out some readers.
Yeah, some very like industrial reading glasses. Yeah, take a look over it. You very carefully grab the documents granted by the executioners. You look at that as well. You compare the two.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out that you're in they're absolutely correct. This is a perfect gray area.
Okay.
Where legally 50% of the prisoner is designated to both groups.
Okay.
Now, only while it is in this specific... Oh, that's perfect. Only while it is in this specific area.
Yeah.
Because the moment that it reaches one of the prisons or an executioner's like area, then it is clearly owned by one of the factions. But while it is in transit, because the truck is owned by the legislative group, they have some jurisdiction, but because they're on ground that is the executioner's basically legal jurisdiction, they have basically joint power over this prisoner.
Mm-hmm.
Now, while this is happening, civilians have started to gather. You hear the sounds of a weeping family. This is pretty common. Only some people saw you absolutely murder that person, and the rest of them are starting to pick sides. They're starting to pick sides. Some of them, executioners, legislation.
Okay. How many? Okay, so now this isn't like all the prisoners. This is just some of the prisoners. Like every day or like every other day gets transported, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what I will do. Okay. So what I will do is, okay. So this, all right. So here's what I'm gonna do. I would like to, through a process of intimidation and or persuasion, basically I will talk to the 2 leaders of the groups and say, how about this? Every morning when the truck is getting ready to be launched, all right, the prisoners must draw lots to determine if they get to stay in the truck and be transported to the next prison, or if they have to deal with the executioners. What do you say? That way, then, the executioners you're happy because you get some of your people. You elitist people can be happy because you get some of your people. And the civilians are happy because nobody's dying. At least none of the civilians are dying. I think.
They kind of look at each other and they say, invoking randomness into a systematic...
And specifically speaking, a random half goes to one and a random half goes to the other. Not just random, like total random.
Okay, all right. So full 50%.
Yes.
This is a different person than the first 2 that talk. They're still bickering. That's why he doesn't sound like them. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I think I'd be fine with that. I think that our groups are probably gonna be okay with that. I mean, they're not gonna be happy.
Well, I tell you what. If anyone is upset with the policy, I go over and I rip open like the doors to the truck. I grab one of the prisoners and I just put my fist through him.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, you succeed. That one
Um,
dies.
and I say they can deal with me. All right.
Uh, okay. Uh,
I pull out.
you know, just to smooth this out, I tell you what, you guys got that one free. He said to the executioner, he's like, "You guys got that one. Let's just split the truck half down the middle for right now, and then we'll set up the randomness as we go." Um, you so technically you've succeeded in a way.
Uh huh.
You are fully aware that the public opinion of you has taken a serious toll.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
Um,
Uh, I after
how would you like to remedy that?
so what I would like to try is I want to have a parade, but not like a normal parade, but technically I think this qualifies under a parade as a funeral for the kid I accidentally killed and also the prisoner I just killed.
Fantastic. And you are absolutely able to, using just intimidation as a show of kind of faith. You got the executioners and the legislative branch to work together with you on this parade. Can you please roll holding a parade for me?
Yes, I can. Please. Oh, please. That's a 6.
That's a 6. That's a perfect success. You show, you're like, hey, look. Basically, it's so much propaganda. Where it's just you're like, make them like me. and the two guilds, they're distributing papers. They're like, hey, look, the Space Marine, he killed 2 people that day, which is a low. First off, second off, one of them was a prisoner that was scheduled to die, and the other one was also technically a criminal. But knowing that his punishment was too much, he has put together this parade as a show of solidarity, as a show of faith in both us and his god, because Space Marines worship like a god of war.
Uh-huh.
That he doesn't regret his action because it was ordained by God. But he is sad that he had to do it. And so this is not an apology, but a show of remorse. And the people are like, if I had to choose between believing that the person that just like murdered my son or killed that person or fully wiped out an entire invading force by themselves is a crazy murderous like dictator who will rule with an iron fist, or someone who regretfully will kill someone sometimes, I'm going to take the second one. Public opinion has raised fantastically.
Yes.
And for a while, all is going incredibly well. I'm going to end it here, but just for kicks and giggles, I just want to give it one more shot.
Uh-huh.
Can you roll gathering information for me? Just to prep for the future. Just to see, hey, is there anything else that I really need to keep an eye on? Because I totally nailed it. Please crit. God, if you're real. This is the time.
That's another 16.
Okay, 16. Multiple people die. It could be worse. But on the bright side, you learn that nothing else is going wrong.
That's
you
good.
do have to hold a couple more civilian
Funerals.
parades.
Yep.
But public opinion is high, and eventually your support does arrive, and they're immediately stretches are coming out. People are like, "Oh, we left a Space Marine on this planet for like just 2 weeks. We're gonna be lucky if we find bodies."
Just for 2 weeks with no supervision.
And they show up, and like buildings have begun being repaired, and survivors are starting to heal. You don't make a lot of public appearances, and that's
Nope.
a good thing.
Nope. Yep.
And all around, people are pretty impressed. And then you are sent off to fight against an incursion of weird bug monsters. You have never been happier, and neither have the people that you threatened their lives. Thank you for playing.
Oh, that was
Nice Marines.
Oh my goodness, that was
Dude,
actually
love this.
hilarious.
love
That
this.
was so much. That was great. I actually really enjoyed that.
I also totally forgot to upload Nice Marines into the Discord, but don't worry, I have now.
That was oh my goodness, that's great.
Oh man, so I'm gonna be 100% honest, Drew.
Uh-huh.
I'm really tired and my throat hurts real bad.
That's fair.
Do
That
you
was
want to
that was a lot
take
of
a
fun.
break and continue this, or do you want to just cut it off here?
Oh, that's great.
It's a tough choice. It's a tough choice.
That is. I mean, we have been going for 2 hours, which is a good amount of time.
That's
That's
2
that's
hours.
our
That's
normal
pretty good.
table scraps kind of length. I suppose I would be fine with ending it here.
I would also be fine. Could I ask, can we go over the remaining ones that
Yes.
we have?
Yes.
Just
100%.
as a brief overview to potentially what we could do in the future. I would
Yeah.
love to do this again for like an actual table scraps episode on like a Thursday or something.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Maybe with a bit more prep and potentially more people.
Yes.
That
would be fun.
Drew, you would have been up next.
Yes.
What was the game that you were going to DM
So,
first?
I have there's 2 more that I found that I thought looked very interesting. One, A Tale Before You Go, by Portia Elaine. Basically, it uses a deck of cards to create a story for like an adventure that you go on. So here, let me. I'm gonna read off a little bit of it. So, to tell your story, you will need a standard deck of playing cards divided into 3 smaller decks. A deck of selves, which is let's see.
I love the dichotomy between our choices of the RPGs to show the other person. Because yours are like, look at this. It has numbers and a graph. And I'm like, I have no idea what's happening. And there's no rules. There's just the concept. Fly free.
That's a 10. Oh my god. Okay, so 3 decks. The first deck of selves, which is 2 through 10 of all the suits shuffled. A deck of truths, which uses the jack, queens, and kings of all the suits shuffled, and then a deck of endings using the aces. So you first draw a card from the deck of selves, and you meet someone. If you get a spade, it's a person who reminds them of a person they love. If it's a heart, someone they fear. A spade is someone they love. A club is someone in desperate need or who has power to make a wish come true. Or a diamond is somebody who guards a certain place. And so, yeah, and just stuff like that. So you basically go through and you can, as you draw cards, you help create a adventure that you can go on.
Super interesting.
It is, yeah, but it's meant for like a solo person, like for one person to play through. So honestly, could be an interesting way to create your next D&D character.
Oh yeah.
I will share that in the Discord as well.
Following Drew's game that's very like technical and in depth. The last 1-page RPG that I had ready to like DM, and I was saving the best for last because this one I saw, I was like, I gotta play this. And let me tell you, I will find a time for me to DM this in actuality. It's called Sexy Battle Wizards, and it's awesome. The intro is, you are a sexy battle wizard. You are a member of the College of Errant. an organization based in a magical flying castle that roves the land looking to avert arcane disasters and fight injustice. You have precisely zero authority to do this. The cops hate you, and you are wanted in several countries for collateral damage caused while saving the world. You have 3 stats: sexy, battle, and wizard. Literally, like the plot, like you roll to, like, there are like plot, like you don't need to, but you could roll to like determine what the plot is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something like, oh, rogue automatons built by a sexy wizard.
Mm-hmm.
um the like you can roll for like what type of place it is. Maybe it's just a big palace full of foppish nobles. And then my favorite, who is going to stand in your way? I'm going to read all 6 of these. The sexy chief of wizard police, a local parentheses sexy lord slash lady looking to seize power. The monarch of summer, a sexy fey royal, a sexy wizard who insists that you do this via the proper channels. A librarian, parentheses, sexy, who guards the information you need, or the sexy angel of a sexy god who'd rather you didn't do this. There is the first thing in the game master section is give the players an inkling of what the first obvious disaster is and let them go at it. If an NPC isn't kissable, think, could I make them kissable? It is. This is like the best possible thing.
That's really
It's
fun.
so cool. Like,
I mean, this is just basically our main campaign.
you roll a d6. This is how Cather came to be. Because let me tell you. So sexy is the ability sexy, battle, and wizard. Sexy is when you charm cuties with your slick style and rockin' bod.
Mm-hmm.
Battle is when you harm your foes with your mighty martial prowess. And wizard is when you weave the eldritch arts of magic. So Cather is just a sexy battle wizard with real high battle,
Mm-hmm.
less high, like, but like you assign 1, 2, and 3 to these.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a 3 battle, a 2 sexy, and a 1 wizard.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Because let me tell you, on the D6 chart of why are you so sexy, number 1 is sculpted muscles. 2 is majestic hair slash beard slash mustache. 3 is impeccable, pristine style. 4 is amazing bone structure. 5 is ethereal, graceful, and elegant. And 6 is dangerous rebel with a cool jacket.
Just saying,
Which
Cather fits
also
all
is
of those.
Yeah, we need to get him a better jacket.
Yeah.
That's the only thing
Yeah,
that
that's the
he's
only thing.
falling apart on. And he might be a little lacking in the ethereal, graceful, and elegant, but he's there.
Yeah, it's fine.
And then you get to choose your signature weapon by rolling 2d10. It's just a list of an adjective and then a type of weapon. So you could have a ghost wolf cannon, or like an ember, like ember blades, a void glaive, a celestial Jezile, which is just an old timey flintlock rifle. This is the coolest RPG that's ever been made.
Honestly, that's hilarious.
Magical
it gives
schools consist of art of the hyperdimensional splendor, the way of 10,000 mirrors, the secret of occult shadowmancy. Like, what? This is the, you can't do better. It's the supreme game.
That's really, really funny.
And once again, please, if you are interested in these, check out the actual page. And then like the recommended price for these is like $2 to $3, and you best believe I'm paying like $5 for sexy battle wizards.
Dude, honestly.
So please check out Send the Actual Thing. Drew, I believe you had one last RPG. Could you give us just a quick overview of what exactly it would have been?
I'll kind of read through the introduction. So the last one that I found that I thought was interesting, because I'm a Lord of the Rings nerd, is There and Back Again. The introduction says, you are an adventurer in the world of The Hobbit, specifically the world as it appeared in 1937 edition of the book. Anyone can be a wizard with the right knowledge. Trolls turn to stone in sunlight. Animals or magical objects can speak. Elves aren't always nice. And the wild is full of terrible creatures like goblins, giant spiders, and even dragons. uh, through basically, and like you basically just you can create a full on like little adventurer dude. Your two main uh, like stats are your toughness and your fate apparently. Uh, and then
That sounds right.
you have like tons of different skills like rhyming, riddling, fighting, foraging, sneaking, crafting. Uh,
All I know is that by what you just said, carousing,
carousing. That's the word I'm
I
looking for.
assume.
And then also and magic.
From what I heard is I can just play Lord of the Rings the Riddler.
Yes, and
So that's all I care about.
it uses d6s, and yeah, and it's pretty in depth as that like there's a whole like things for like resources, like what happens with failure, magic items that you can find, certain things that you can like monsters that you can fight. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I just have one real quick story to tell before we do any signing off. I was at work a little bit ago, and this relates to your RPG, don't worry. And it was revealed to me that there are 3 words that can instantly make me think less of a person. Because to one of my coworkers, I made a joke, which is only a little bit true, that my New Year's resolution is going to be I want to make more noises that Gandalf would make. This is my day-to-day life. Like I want like my car to slip on ice, and then me to just go, "Hurr!" And then, or like my friends are walking away, and I should go, "Fly, you fools!" Like, also, Gandalf was 4 fingers deep in a crimp and he couldn't mantle. Like, go to the gym. Bro.
Honestly, yeah, dude could have easily made
like,
just climb back up, like my guy.
But then after making my fantastic joke, my coworker turned to me and perfectly stun locked me with 3 words. They said, "Who is Gandalf?" I have never been.
Oof.
It
hurts.
It for 5 minutes I couldn't move.
Wow.
I was
just
glitched out.
Totally caught off guard.
Like my impression of this person was here. It like dropped. This is the same person who has told me that they don't know who the Predator is and they don't know who the Terminator is.
Oh, come on.
And I'm like, okay, the Predator, maybe. The Terminator? Gandalf?
It hurts.
Gandalf?
It really hurts.
Like if I was like, oh yes, Boromir, king of the throne, like first in the... Like, okay, yeah, Boromir's important, but if you don't know Boromir, I'm not going to blame you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. I was like, oh yes, Wormtongue. Whatever.
Yeah.
But Gandalf? The Gandalf?
The Gandalf.
The correct answer should be, do you mean Gandalf the Grey or Gandalf the White? Like, come on. But anyway, thank you for listening to my rant that I've told so many people. I am just going to end off stream here. Thank you for hanging out so long through the most scuffed stream I think we've ever done. Especially on a main campaign night.
Although it was a lot of fun, and many of you seem to enjoy it in the chat, so thank you for hanging out and having a good time with us.
Oh yeah, and if you want to see more of this, please tell us, and we will find ways. I would love to do some kind of series or something, even if it's like on like Patreon, or if it's just like something that we do randomly. If we do it on Table Scraps or something, where we play like 1-page RPGs. I think that would be awesome because they're so fun. They're easy to learn. You can tell a great story. If you want to see more of this kind of stuff, or even just reviewing RPG content and finding fun games, tell us like what you want to see because we're all out of ideas. All right, we need to thieve off of our audience to know what you want. So please tell us. Thank you for coming to the Paper Dungeon on this fine Monday evening or morning or afternoon, wherever you're from. We will normally stream a main campaign episode. This coming couple of weeks is a little 50-50.
So this let me here. Give me 1 second. I can
pull up the schedule.
Pull up the calendar.
as we normally do with the holiday season yearly, we will be taking like some days off. Don't worry, we'll still be streaming something. I am confident in that statement. I don't think there is a day when we don't actually stream something. Like a Monday. And that'll be coming up, but it probably won't be a whole lot of main campaign stuff. It'll be a little bit zanier. Some of it will be pre-recorded. Some of it will be like a rerun is somewhere in there, and I'm not sure exactly when that starts. I think the rerun might be next week.
So to give a recap of what's going on the rest of this month and kind of what's going on. So next week is our last main campaign episode of the year. And then the following Monday on the 26th, we're doing a rerun of the last episode of the year.
Mm-hmm. So if you miss it, you can still.
So if you miss it, you can come back, check it out. And then the first Monday of the new year, we have a fun Christmas festive-ish one-shot thing happening that is being streamed.
Be cold.
Mm-hmm. And that will be pre-recorded, but streamed live. Yes, and that is DM'd by DJ.
That's pretty rad.
And then we have the following Monday on the 9th, another fun one shot with DM'd by Aaron, hopefully with myself and Grant and possibly Lydia.
Yeah, and it'll depend on who's all there. So it could be 3 people. It could be 2 people.
It could
There's
be one person.
Chance. It could be just me and Grant, jamming for him, which will
chaotic. Still be a great time.
All 3 of the options are fantastic.
And then finally, Monday, the 16th of January, we are back to the main campaign.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. Check it out.
Is there
check out the Discord for updates.
A filing cabinet somewhere in there?
I might have missed it. I think that is true though. Somewhere in there, there's a Thursday that we try to do it filing.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be a Thursday. Don't worry.
Okay. So that same week that we're back to main campaign, that following Thursday we're doing a filing cabinet hosted by the Grant DeFore.
Yep.
Normal evening stream time at 7 p.m. CST. It'll be great. And yeah.
So. That is our stream for tonight. Thank you everyone for sticking to it. Shout out to all of you people not listening to this live. We would love to see you live, so you can join in on the fun and tell us like, wow, this was horrible. Never do this again. The only thing that I have left to say to you on this auspicious night is good luck and Godspeed, everyone. We will see you next time, Dungeoneers. We will be doing something on Thursday, 1:30, table scraps for real. Check it out. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.